In today's video, I'm gonna flip a $1 million e-commerce business to a $5 million e-commerce brand. How are we gonna do this? I'm first off gonna show you the business and its numbers. I actually audited the business just 5 to 7 days ago, just last week. So it's a real business, real actual scenario. So we'll go through the numbers. I'll tell you what they were doing, what they attempted to do, and then at the same time, just after that, I'm gonna share the exact strategies and frameworks that I would personally use based on my experience of working with over 100 brands in the last 7 years, what I would do to flip it and get to 1 million to 5 million. So hopefully you're gonna get some value from this video. And with no further ado, let's get right into it. Great. So before we get into it and before we go through this kind of like a business flip, let's call it, this is just an account of one of our several clients that we work with. Just so you know, if you're a new viewer, the type of caliber of clients that I'm used to working with. In the last month, let me just refresh so you know this is real. We spent over $300,000 and generated, well, actually a lot more than this because it's a bit of an underreporting. The break even point for this particular business is like 1.5, and so the actual ROAS, since it's underreporting, it's closer to like 2.2, 2.3. Trust me, we wouldn't have scaled if it wasn't profitable, right? And the business overall generated $800,000 in just a single month in December. So, and this is what we spent on ads. So, I am qualified to speak about these things. Now that we got the proof out of the way, let's actually jump right into the case study. Or the business flip. Why is my face so big? Let me just scale to fit. There we go. Let's start off by analyzing the brand. So what I'm gonna do is show you the current situation of the brand, okay? Then I'm gonna show you what is required for them to essentially improve the business, and with the same amount of ad spend, just absolutely increase the percentage of profit. And then I'm going to tell you exactly, and I'm going to show you some diagrams because it's a bit more complex, how to get the improved version of the business and scale it to get to the 5, 6, 7, $10 million per year mark. Okay, this stage is something we can all do, but this next stage, to get to that next level of ad spend and revenue, you need to do and pull some other levers, which don't worry, I'm going to talk about in this video, which is the whole point of this video. So the current situation of the business, they're doing around $1 million per year. They're spending $40,000 in ads. Their margins are actually quite good. So their COGS per each order is around 25%. Their shipping percentage per order is 5%. And then of course, processing fees, we put 3%. So overall 25, 30, 33% are their entire costs. So if the business is selling at $100, $33 is the cost of goods and everything included, and the rest, which is 67%, is essentially their margin, their gross margin, right? Okay, so let's get into this. It's spending $40,000 a month. $16 CPM, which is pretty average, especially, actually, it's quite a bit even lower on the lower end, considering that they're doing marketing in really competitive markets like the US and Canada. So $16, not too bad. I've seen better, but not too bad. 1% CTR, okay? 4.5% conversion rate, $73 average order value. Now, I want to note one thing over here. And I've had some questions. People ask me some questions. These two numbers are just on the ad account level. So if we actually got these numbers on the Shopify dashboard, they would actually be very, very healthy. But when we're looking at Shopify conversion rate, for example, it's always going to be lower, around 30 to 35, sometimes even 40% lower than what we see the conversion rate to be on the ad account level, because the Shopify receives a lot more sessions, right? So the ad account doesn't really count the sessions, it's by click. So this number is actually the calculation of this conversion rate, 4.50, is the number of purchases divided by the number of clicks times 100. That's essentially the proportion, okay? So just FYI. So the actual conversion on their store is closer to 3%, 2.8 to 3%, with a $73 AOV, which isn't too shabby. It's not too bad, but it's still, it can still be improved. And so overall, this is their profit, 18%, which is not too bad for, a 7-figure business. They're doing $1 million a year. They're bringing in 18% of their profit. But every single time that they tried to scale their ad spend, it just didn't work and it wasn't profitable. and it wasn't a fit with their model. And plus, they don't even have any agency fees. And so as soon as they hire an agency, I don't know, 5K a month, or an in-house team, like the profit drops quite significantly. And so this is typically what happens. So let's actually go through the improved kind of model. So this model essentially has the same exact ad spend, which is the entire kind of like process of going through the improved model. We don't really want to change too much things, because when we increase ad spend, it gets a lot more expensive to advertise. So we're assuming that we have the same exact advertising spend, same exact CPM, right? But we actually doubled the CTR. So, 1 to 2% might not be, I always like ask people on calls, what's your CTR? Like, what's your click-through rate on your ads? They say, oh, it's between 1 and 2%. There's a big difference between 1% and 2%. And this is exactly why. If it's 1%, you get an 18% margin on an $82,000 per month business. If it's 2%, you get a 42% margin on and $180,000 a month in revenue, okay, just by changing nothing. So this is one of their bottlenecks, and and this is what we want to improve, because 1%, it's not going to really allow you to scale too much. And then I'm going to discuss about strategy and how to get it to 2%, and also how to scale that and maintain it at 2%. That's for later. So 2%, 4.50 is the same conversion rate. And then I added, from $73 to $80, which I think is really, really reasonable. And I'm going to show you exactly what they're not doing and what they should be doing to get to this point. And the combination of these things over here that I just went through essentially create a very, very, very profitable business. Not even to mention that I even added a fixed cost, which is like an agency, fee or whatever. Or if they hired like 4, 5, 6, 7 people in-house, whatever that number is, it's around that. And they could also even honestly bump it to like 10,000 if they had like more people in-house, and it's still very, very healthy margin. Okay. Now, this being said, what do the results at scale actually look like? Let me just move myself a little bit and show you over here. So this is what it looks like. We're looking at an increased ad spend, so results at scale. So we're trying to get, what we're doing over here is that we're getting the improved version and we're trying to scale it. So what happens when you increase ad spend? Typically, the traffic becomes a lot more expensive, okay? And I'm going to talk about these things more in depth in just a second. But essentially, we go from $40,000 a month in spend to $175,000 a month in spend. And we almost essentially double the CPM. The CPM is the cost per 1,000 impressions. So if I'll just give you a scenario, if this CPM was like $5, the business would have been so much more profitable. But if it was like $30, it's actually 15%, but we're at $16. So this number is really something that is really, really important, and it tends to go up. Ads are more expensive when you try to scale. And so I doubled the CPM just to be more on the conservative side. We're assuming that the CTRs and the $4.5 conversion rate and the $80 AOV is the same. And so here, we've created a business that is quite profitable. I also doubled the team costs just because it's a growing business, and hiring is required along with agencies or in-house team members. And so we have a 20% margin business at $420,000 a month, quite profitable and healthy. And at this point, we're pulling up $1 million per year in profit, not revenue. Okay, so how do we get to this point? Let's get to the diagrams and discuss further. Give me 1 second and let's flip it over here. So first of all, I want to discuss about their creative strategy and what they were doing and why what they were doing was very expensive. And this is maybe something that you're currently doing and you're not leveraging, right? So what the current version of what they were doing when it comes to creative strategy is that they were essentially working with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 creators, maybe like 3 to 4 a month, but they were spending like $300, $400 for one video and 3 different hooks. So this is actually a pretty decent strategy, which we also use, but when we are 100% sure that the video is gonna, we're gonna crack the code with the video and we're gonna be able to scale. So reality is that if you're doing $80,000 a month, there's no super clear product market fit, meaning that I consider a product market fit when like you can scale, right? If you're doing like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 a month or whatever, or even along those lines, there is product market fit, but it's not really scalable. So in their situation, they were still testing a lot, and so they were really spending a lot, and it was also taking them a long time to get the videos, because they would have to ship the product to the creator, wait for them, and they would shoot after like 7 to 14 to 20 days, receive a video back with 3 hooks. That's just a big waste of time. And so the approach that we use, and that I would use for them and really advise them to use, is essentially have the same approach with UGC people, so partner with them, but ask them to do a bunch of B-rolls. So scenes that are 3 to 10 seconds long, 5 to 10 seconds long, of them being happy, them being sad, then opening the product, then trying the product. Essentially a bunch of different scenes that then our editors and creative team just can go in and put a bunch of B-rolls together, and then combine the videos with the B-roll variations, right? With different scripts. So this is B-roll variation 1, this is variation 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these are essentially mixed and matched. They're all sequences that the editors got from the B-roll folder that the UGC people essentially generated for us and for the client. And so what they do is that they combine the two. And then what happens is that we're able to then do the hooks and test the hooks once we really know that the video is working, because the hook is really, really important. You can test it as a first thing, but we like to also test it as a secondary thing once we know that the video is really a winner. Because once we know that the body of the video is a winner, boom, we try to improve the hook, and then we can test multiple variations. So this is the structure that we use, so that we get a bunch of different variations. And so this is how it looks with the editor. So the editor receives the B-rolls. The editor also receives an AI script, essentially the script of the video. And then a third thing, which is a winning ad, so they know exactly what a winning ad looks like and what they need to replicate exactly. And so then by this framework, they can essentially replicate as many videos with B-rolls as they want, right? And this is really, really, really important. And then guess what? If you want to change a script, you just do it, and then you repurpose the B-rolls, and then you can launch. This allows you to scale faster, cheaper, in a more systematic way, in a more controlled way, because you control the scenes, right? Which is really, really important. Well, these videos, like, sure, you can mash them up, or you can do like a mashup video of these 3, but they're 3 different people, and you can only do mashups, and you're not in control of the specific scenes, okay? Which is, I think, really important. How do you do to do this? Like, how do you set this up, and what do you really need? I'll show you. You basically need a couple of things. So first of all, you need a kind of like, I like to call it like a B-roll library. And so this is what we do for our clients, at least. You can do it in other ways, but it's a 30-page document. Yours doesn't have to be 30 pages, but we essentially put all of screenshots of people that are sad, that are happy, and then we give it a B-roll number along with like a short description, so that we can go in here, mix and match the ones that we want to send the creator. We send them and put into a separate document, and then they know exactly what they need to do. Like the UGC creators know exactly what scenes they need to film. It's very, very simple. And so this is a process that we use to scale. So this is the first thing that I would do if I were them, to really scale dramatically in a cheaper way, more controlled way, and a faster way. This is by far one of the best ways to do it, and this is what we do, at least. Now, let's talk about scaling horizontally. They got to $1 million a year, kudos to them, but just by doing 1 or 2 angles. So all of their business was reliant on just one marketing angle, and maybe a couple. Well, and the marketing angle that was a winner, right, was essentially taking 90% of their business. If I were to scale horizontally, if I were to scale a business, I would also scale it horizontally as soon as possible, for 2 different reasons. Number one, if you scale horizontally, you're essentially creating multiple other streams of income, or cash flowing, generating pieces of income within your business. So your business is not reliant on just like 1 or 2 angles. It's reliant on 6, 7, or whatever. What is a marketing angle, by the way? A marketing angle is the way that you promote your product. You can promote a skincare product by focusing on the hydration aspect of the product, how good it is for hydration. You can also focus on selling to fix turkey necks, right, or a jawline, or wrinkles, or fine lines, right? You can touch different angles within the problem itself, or sorry, the product itself. As Alex Ramosi also stated, just quoting him, if you're able to sell a product in like 100 different ways with different angle and market propositions, then you can really scale a lot easier. And so one other thing is a rule that you can apply, just so you don't go crazy with testing a bunch of different things, is that 80% of your time should go towards what is already proven to work, the angles that are proven to work. 20% of your time, resources, and team's time should go towards testing complete new concepts and marketing angles, which is what we want to achieve over here. So as you go on in time, the 20% stacks up every single time. And so at the end of the year, you can maybe find 3, 4, 5 different angles that are really you're able to position to the market that allows you to like create these extra cash flowing streams of income, let's call them. You can do the same thing with products. So just disregard that it says angles. You can scale horizontally with products as well. And that's also one core problem that the business was also kind of like suffering with, is that they got to $1 million a month with one product, but that's, all they stopped with. And they didn't really do much. And, as soon, I think, I can bet $100 or $1,000 or whatever, that if I have a conversation with this business in 1 year from now, and they're still in the same position, they're not going to be generating $88,000 a month anymore, because they're not evolving angles, and at the same time, they're not evolving in products, and they're selling the same product. And if you don't evolve your product with if you don't evolve your marketing with different creative concepts and angles, that product is going to die, and people are just going to be saturated and tired of seeing that same offer and same product. So this is how the marketing works. You need to innovate. And so this is what I would do to differentiate, scale horizontally with products and with marketing angles specifically, okay? And last thing that I want to discuss over here, which is really, really valuable, is upselling and cross-selling. They weren't doing anything of that. They were just doing product page to cart to checkout to thank you, which is fine. It works. But if you want to add that extra 10% of revenue, which is how, by the way, I essentially recommend what I recommended them to do, to go from $73 in AOV to essentially $80 in AOE, which is a big difference in revenue when, for each order. And so what you can do to do that is essentially apply a couple of things. Let's go back over here. You can apply a cart drawer, and I'm going to show an example in just a second. They go to checkout after that, and then they see upsell 1, upsell 2, and downsell 1. So if they if they accept the upsell 1, they're going to get upsold again. If they reject the first upsell 1, because they can choose yes or no, they're going to see a downsell, and a downsell is something that costs a bit less. An upsell is something that costs the same amount or a bit more. So if this is like a $50 product, maybe this is a $50, $60, $70, $100 product, and the downsell will be like maybe $30, $40, something that is less expensive. Okay, so this is the funnel that I highly recommend, and these are the conversion rates that you can expect, meaning that if somebody comes here and buys and they go through the checkout, they should be able to 10 to 20% of people that buy should convert. So 1 to 2 people out of 10 should be able to convert and buy more. If that are not your numbers, then it means that the funnel is broken, or you don't have the right offers, the right incentives, the right product to showcase, right? These need to be very, very complementary, or else the thing doesn't work. Let me show you what the cart drawer is, because it's also related to this process. How do you do this, by the way? Use apps called Reconvert or One Click Upsell, OCU, right? All these apps are great. One Click Upsell is the one I recommend. Going back over here, let me show you an example of a brand that's really doing well. So this is Abbott Lion. They're doing like, I think 30, 40, 50 million a year or something like that. Maybe 15, I don't remember. But you add the cart, and then a cart drawer comes. And then there's essentially information, upselling information, and it's very fast. Instead of going to like a completely different page, there's just a pop-up that people can scroll through, and it's very user-friendly because if you can see also the mobile version, it's basically like this. It just pops up. So it's very user-friendly. I really like what they're doing here. And then, as you can see, you can also add additional offers, incentives. So if they spend 361 dirhams, which is almost $100, they get 2 free bracelets. So let's do it. I add 3. And then, you can always, I'm not sure what happened there, but you can always customize and gift wrap it. But then, as you can see, there's an activation and then you can choose the two bracelets for free or something like that. So you cannot do this in a standard checkout. This is a great drawer, and also you can add a timer here, which I really love, and works very, very well. You can also add something called shipping protection, where that's a good quick easy upsell that is like $4, $5, $6, or warranty, another like $5 to $10 for 3 years instead of one. Like all these things, you can be super creative and add to this cart drawer, and it works super well. Okay, going back over here, this is what I would do. Once again, these three offers you can use with like one-click upsell. And so this is, by the way, what I would focus on when it comes to growing this business and going from 1 million to 5 million. This is really important because it increases your AOV by 10% just by working on these things. But one other thing is this are probably the things that make the biggest difference, because with this process you're able to like really scale your tests and test a lot more frequently with a lot more control in a cheaper way. And this alone allows you to distribute the risk of your business and have more products, more offers. This is actually coherent. This horizontally scaling is coherent with products, more offers, right? More offers that you're putting into the market and more marketing angles, right? So it applies in multiple aspects. I just decided to do this video specifically about angles. Okay, I hope this video was valuable. Let me just go back over here and share one quick thing. If you want access to this sheet or this ROI calculator, this sheet also has competitors, daily reports, creative concepts sheet, testing trackers, how we distribute ad copies, a UGC tracker, CRO tracker, right? All of these things, by the way, that I talked about over here, everything that we apply and that I speak about needs to be tracked. This is how 8-figure businesses operate. I did a video about it recently. If you do and implement the things that I'm talking about in this video, but you do not have a systematic way and clear way of tracking your data, like for example, this is our CRO sheet where we have hypothesis, tests, change in conversion rate, whether it was successful or unsuccessful, notes, right? All these things, we have it also for a creative testing tracker where we document and track every single creative test that we put on the ad account. So each and one of these are creative tests. And then we basically track the numbers and we color code them so they're easier to kind of see visually. And then we have notes, learnings, so that we know exactly what we need to test as a next step. Okay, I hope this video is valuable. If you want the sheet, just there's a link down below. Give us your email and you'll receive it in your inbox. On a side note, if you own an e-commerce business doing $50,000 to $100,000 a month minimum, you can actually get a free audit, just like this lucky person that got his ad account kind of like his business audited. So what we are seeing here, we can do on a call for your business, of course, if it qualifies and if it makes sense. And then, of course, if we see an opportunity to do business together, we can take it, a chill conversation, and we can explore if that makes sense, if we even have the capacity when we speak. Okay, I hope this video was valuable. Let me know if you have other suggestions, and also let me know if you like this format of video where it's maybe a bit more of like, real life example where I audit the brand, break it down and improve it, right? So let me know and see you in the next video. Bye.